Well, I definitely caught up on something this week, and I think I learned a lot more from it than I bargained for. Hello, virtual dreamers, Gregory here, and this is the prologue. My quest for this past week was catching up on my first game. After the roller coaster of a month that was May, I really let myself get behind on quite a few of the things I really wanted to progress towards. So, I decided to take the time and just focus on my game development this past week in order to catch myself back up and produce the results I was looking for. There was one particular activity that I really needed to get done in order to actually have it on my roadmap taken down as I caught up. So, we'll see how that went after the synopsis segment for this week. Well, everyone, I'm happy to say this, but the quest, catching up on my first game for the week of May 27th through to June 2nd, is complete! It took quite a bit of work, everyone, to really get everything I needed to sorted out over this past week. The two main things I really needed to have done, though, were getting a testable version of the minimum viable product, as well as actually having some friends come over to test. And I'm not gonna lie, I was really hesitant on having people try out my game at this early of a stage. After finally going through with it though, I have to say it, I could not be more happy that I went through with it. Some of the feedback I got completely changed my perspective on what I was doing. In all likelihood, that one test day is probably going to be the one day that had the single biggest impact on the product that I am creating is going to be. Not in the sense that my testers have decided what my game is going to be, so much as it really changed my perspective on the whole matter and made me realize that maybe I was letting myself get into a rut and just fall into a line of thinking that isn't true, and that I have much more options at my disposition than I realized. So test early, everyone, and work with the resources available to you. This actually segues fairly nicely into my quest for this upcoming week. You see, I just picked up a new piece of music creating software called Fruity Loop Studio. I've had an interest in creating music for a while now, but I never really managed to get myself motivated enough to just properly sit down with a piece of software and a documentation or tutorial and just head on into it. But now that I'm doing as much work as I am in game development, I feel that I just can't afford to procrastinate on this subject area any longer. As such, the quest for the week of June 3rd to June 9th is Baby Steps to the Music. With that, everyone, my part of the quest here is done, but you all had your own quest to be getting down to. Quest number 5, Code Breakers. In this quest, you had to decipher a code that I created inside of the video by strewing together a bunch of randomly placed letters all throughout the video, and then deciphering what that code was based on some of the hints I provided. There were 3 words inside of the code, as well as 3 letters meant to throw you off, and it was based on an anime phrase that was used in a recently aired episode. What was that phrase now? Let's roll the footage. So yes, everyone, we only had one brave adventurer who managed to successfully get into their spot for the single shout-out. Everyone, give a round of applause to Owl, who managed to successfully complete the quest in spite of all the factors that were going against them. They weren't keeping up with the current season of anime, so that would have made it a lot harder for them to figure it out. I'd imagine they're probably a very busy person, And it seems that the phrase has been used in different occasions inside of the light novel versus the anime itself, or at the very least I might have missed any prior usages of the phrase in the anime. So it seems that Owl, in spite of all these factors, managed to get both Eru Psai Kongaru and Elp Psai Kongari. Owl, even if you'd only gotten Elp Psai Kongaru, you would have gotten in just fine as an honorable mention. But since you also managed to get in the final phrase, congratulations on getting the sole shoutout spot for this week. You really outdid yourself. Now then everyone, it's time for the next community quest for the week of June 3rd to June 9th. Quest number 6, Remembering Your First Days, will revolve around posting a comment down below whereby you tell us about your first steps in a new medium, learning a new skill at a new job, or just beginning something in general that you feel is going to have an impact on you later in life. For me, this is going to be music in a certain sense, since I've never really done it, but I've always had an interest in doing it. Nostalgia is going to be a valuable thing, and for me, having this specific video is going to be very fascinating, just because this really is my first steps inside of a new region. I've never had to deal with something like this in the past, so it's going to be fascinating. It should be noted, everyone, that the reward for this week's quest will be to have your comment read aloud, as well as your name stated, in next week's prologue. It should also be noted, everyone, this will be limited to the first 3 people to successfully clear the quest. Good luck to you all, fellow adventurers and dreamers. Till next time, this has been Gregory, logging out.